What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Saturday. The weekend is here, August 15th. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on odds.com headquarters. Man, it was almost a spectacular day yesterday. But of my 6 MLB bets, 4 were voided with pitching changes. I didn't mind the one DeGrom losing that bet, but if I had to just be in action, it would have been 2-1 on those other 3 bets. In the end, I go 2-0 in MLB, 1-0 in NBA, Sixers plus 165 money line for just up by 30 all game long. You knew Brett Brown with his idiocy would care so much, and maybe it's not idiocy, but he would care so much about winning this last game going to the playoffs and do such a shitty job everywhere else. So that was a really easy, bet on a shit coach caring about a meaningless game. And then 2-1 in NHL. Capitals team total under 2.5, cash at plus money. The over in Blues Canucks, cash at plus money. If you see the smile creep on my face, because the Canucks are up 2-0 on the Blues, which makes me so happy. Lost on the Stars. It's my fault for believing in Ben and Seguin. When Seguin hit the post twice the first 5 minutes, I was like, okay, this is something's wrong. But I might go right back. I might go right back to the well tomorrow. I have one bet that I plan on making in NHL. I've made 5 bets on MLB. I wanted to talk out the NHL bet because it's a plus 150 spot, and I just want to talk it out, say it out loud, and make sure I still believe in it before I move forward. We have special guest Aunt L joining us. Thank you guys so much for rolling with us today. All these great cappers in the chat. Gio Mercedes ready to get to work. Brandon Lugo. We got Hustle Wilson, Barry Smith, Brian Warner. Rask opts out. What do you mean Rask opts out? Jesus. Rask opts out? Holy shit. Rask opts out? My goodness. Oh, my goodness. Well, that bodes well for my Hurricanes. Dennis Garcia says price on Boston is cheap. Well, I'll tell you why it's cheap, and I know this game starts right now. It's because their power play's at 12.5%. Is Pasternak in the lineup? I've been watching. Now, we couldn't watch game 1 because the show was on, but I watched game 2 very closely, and I think the Hurricanes are a better hockey team than the Boston Bruins. But you guys know I've got future bets. I've got to win the conference and to win the Stanley Cup, and my futures are a mess unless these come through, so I'm just going to let this one go. I've got the series bet. I'm already up marginally because I lost game 1, but won game 2 at plus 125. Wow. Yenny Toon, we'll get you back in action. We're running hot here on the show, so 9-2 in the last 2 days, plus 8 point some odd units. It feels very, 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 very good. Very good. There's Buzznuts in the house ready to get to work. Brian Warner said Bayern yesterday, and they win 8-2. 8-2. I love it. There's Tim Montana ready to get to work. Ron Lofton. And look, we got Jeff Joseph in the house. It says stellar Woodbine card today all over that Saratoga looking chalky. Yes, the Woodbine Oaks going today. Woodbine Oaks going today. Very, very exciting. All right, sorry, I'm a little behind here. Beach Boss ready to go. We got Leo Leon, Helgard Werner, Nick Dillard, Will Turpin ready to go. Joe Yurkovich hanging a first 5 under 4.5 at minus 148. A lot of juice for Detroit Cleveland. We'll get into that very shortly because we got Ant ready to fire away at this MLB card. Canascat in the house. We got JR ready to go. Brian Warner ready to eat. Paco Healy swerving. Zach Lizett ready to eat today. We got Andre Lebrecq. We got the Sweaty Butcher. Flipper 13. What a great, great group. Leo Leon dropping his UFC looks here. Leo Leon making eating in UFC. I'll leave that up for a little while. But the team is here. The team is here. I'm ready to rock. Dutch Boy Fresh had first quarter -2. So he said he was going to do that with the Blazers today. We're going to get into that big game here. We're going to get into that. He said he was going the first half full game. Wham Bam came on, and Wham Bam's on the first half -3. I came in on the first half -3, although it was a 5-cent move. It's -115. That is still where it is. I cannot believe that Rask opted out. Jesus. Man. You got to be there for your teammates. You're a vet. There better be some legitimate sickness, not just, I don't know. That's crazy. I cannot believe Rask opted out. And Brandon Lugo says Rask out and Pasternak out today. Now it's a pick 'em right now, so it's not like, wow. Oh, look, and Clint already got the Canes at +110. Great job, Kane. Wow, I'm just shocked. Paco Healy, no, but I'll give you a heads up of what I want to bet today. I think it's going to be a tight checking affair, very tight checking affair, very tight. And I want to bet Avalanche under 2.5 goals at +150. But I want to talk it out. I want to talk it out before I pull the trigger. I came so close to pulling the trigger. It was like, now I cashed with this, with the Capitals yesterday. I think I can do it again. Kanaskat jumped in, got the 3.5 with Portland. There's Dom Ricci in the house. We got razor sharp picks. All right, the team is ready. The team is ready. Brian Warner, yeah, he mentioned his family. This is just shocking. But there must be something serious going on. I shouldn't judge the man for it. All right, let's get to work. It is MLB time. 2-0 day yesterday, 2-1 day the day before. I had actually thought, there was so many sports going on. I thought that Astros team total over was a winner. I didn't realize that Kukuc hadn't pitched, so I didn't realize that was also voided. Still, 4 voids, and we're 53-41. We're hitting at 56.4%, plus 6.96 units. ROI, 7.40%. Average line, -111. It feels very good. There's JoJo Rich. There's Top Set. Let's get to work right now, bringing our esteemed special guest, MLB expert, Ant L in the house. How are you, Ant?
Pretty good, Jimmy. A little tired breaking down this freaking card. Like every team plays, including 2 doubleheaders. So it's a big card today.
It was a big card today. Do we have confirmed that this Reds-Pirates game is postponed?
Is it?
Well, there's 4 guys on the Reds with.
Well, it's probably going to be postponed then, which sucks because I had money on that game.
So I don't know if we can get. Reds is off. Ron Crawford. So Reds game is off. Okay. Yes, postponed. Okay. Let's get to work.
Scratch that out then.
I doubled up with Ant and Noli knows this week. These guys are just handing out winners. So we got them doubled up twice this week. And every time they've come on so far, since the start of Noli knows and Ant L Sports, I haven't had a negative unit day. That's nuts. And I don't mind saying that out loud. I don't believe in that bullshit. I can talk about winning all I want. Win, win, win. I don't believe in that.
Well, I got my spreadsheet on my computer right here, so I'll let you know. My record on the year in MLB is 95, 72, and 6 pushes. I'm up 18 units, and my average line is +107.
Holy shit. That's gorgeous. That's gorgeous. That's puts to shame I thought my record was gorgeous. But hey, any plus I'll take. If the gambling gods had said, look, we'll give you plus 0.5 units at this point in the season, would you take it? I'd say, yeah. I'd take it. I'd fucking take it. I would take it. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We got Dutch Boy Fresh, Mr. Gokster, all these great cappers, Sean Mosler. What a season that Ant's having. Okay, let's get to work. We're going to start with the 2 doubleheaders. They're very tricky. Let's kind of get them out of the way. Let's start with Cardinals, White Sox. Wainwright, Giolito is whom I'm expecting to be in this first game. I believe we have that confirmed. There is a market out. Remember, these are 7 inning games. This total is at 7. Giolito and the White Sox open up at minus 170. They're now minus 175. One crazy thing we've seen so far is that all of these teams that are coming back from COVID breaks have been played well that first game. Now, this is one hell of a COVID break. They haven't played since July 29th.
Yeah.
July 29th. It's crazy. Wainwright, who cares? 2 appearances against the White Sox. And working with Ant over the last few years, now I just put a line through certain stats. I mean, I didn't even need to mention his 2 career appearances against the White Sox. Who cares? The Cardinals are expected to use a bunch of relievers in the second game. We'll get into that. Giolito, 1.89 ERA in his last 3 starts this year, 4.37 ERA, 1.37 whip because he got beaten up badly in that first game. Cardinals versus righties not hitting them, but small sample size, 228, 704 OPS. Speaking of the small sample size, in those 5 games, the Cardinals bullpen was lights out, 0.98 ERA, 0.49 whip. White Sox, 253, 707 OPS versus righties. They smash lefties. They're not hitting righties. Wainwright had 1 start. He looked very good in it. Got the win, 6 innings. Allowed 1 run, 5 Ks, 1 walk. No home runs allowed. Giolito's allowed 3 home runs here. And after losing 5 of 6, White Sox beat the Tigers back-to-back. They got Tim Anderson back in the top of the lineup. He's batting 5 for 9, and he's loving it. Edwin Encarnacion is also back in the lineup. I have not made a move. These 7-inning games, doubleheaders, it's tricky, and I've yet to make a move, especially with a team that's been off for 2.5 weeks. Let's hear what Ant L is doing. Cardinals, White Sox.
I'm with you on this. I put a line through all the doubleheaders today because, like, for this game, for example, I kind of like the White Sox. I like Giolito's upside a lot better than Wainwright. I think Wainwright's kind of like on the down slope of his career right now. I like the look of Giolito from last year. I like the look of Giolito this year. He had 1 bad start against the Twins, but the Twins have a dynamic offense. I like the fact you got Anderson back. You're getting Encarnacion back. Tim Anderson at the top of that lineup for the White Sox just really opens everything up for them. Something a lot of people don't realize, when you take one guy out of a lineup, that can mess a lot of things up because, if you have a really top of the line hitter at the front of the lineup, the other guys are going to start seeing more pitches too. You're not really avoiding a lot of guys. That was the problem, like, say, Mike Trout for all those years when he was with the Angels. He was the only hitter they had, so they could just walk around him, So having 2 guys like Anderson and Encarnacion back helps the White Sox out a lot. The problem is I think the White Sox are a better team. I think if this is a 9-inning game, I think the line is about accurate. Minus 170 probably be about where I would have it, in the 160 to 170 range. But I don't want to make a move here because unlike your book, my book is not voiding anything. After the first game of the year, after the first day of the year, it just and it's common with some books. A lot of books are doing this too this year, where they're just saying everything's action with all these scratch pitchers. So I don't want to get stuck with minus 170 and then Giolito's bumped to the second game and they, or things like that, because stuff like that happens all the time in these bullpen or in these doubleheaders. So I'm off it. If you could get like my White Sox minus a half run on the first 5 or something like that, I could see that being a play. Maybe if you could get like a White Sox team total over, that's not juiced too high and like the 3 range, I could see that. But I'm just off this game, and I'm off all the doubleheader games.
I get it.
Yeah, I mean, because like I said, all of my bets are action, and I can't be betting a doubleheader and then have them switch up their pitchers, and then I wind up getting screwed.
Yeah, I get it. And we have no idea who's pitching basically in this second game. We think it might be Ross Detweiler. That's if Keuchel goes Sunday. So it's a confusing situation. Don Reach says, I hate this little league 7 innings crap. I know a lot of books and Vegas and a lot of places doing the all action, but 365 is still is not. And other books are still letting you.
It helped me out yesterday that I was able to have action on that Astros Mariners over. So that was action. That stayed action for me. So that did help me. But there's been a couple times this year I had to buy off games because of pitching changes because it was still action. So
no doubt. No doubt. Okay, well, that wraps up the second game of Cardinals-White Sox. Let's talk about this Royals-Twins double for those of you who want to make moves on the double. It's Kennedy Odorizzi, in Kennedy getting his first start since, what, I think like 2018, but it is a bullpen day for sure, and he's been getting rocked. But I can't trust Odorizzi right now. So does that mean we make a move on the total?
Is there a first 5 line in these 7 inning games? Oh, okay, because if there's a first 5 line, because I bet the Royals first 5 yesterday when it was Junis versus Odorizzi, and then they switched it to Kennedy.
I take that back. I thought books weren't giving us the 5. Wow. Let me just confirm that on my book. Wow, there are first 5 lines. Why did I think they weren't doing that? Yes, there are first 5 lines. Interesting. So for game 1 of Royals Twins, the first 5 is at 4.5. Wow. Very, very, very interesting. There are 5.5s out there, supposedly, but Bet365 is at 4.5. What were you going to say about the first 5?
Just because I think there's enough question marks with Odorizzi, and you have enough power in that Kansas City offense because they have a low-key good offense. They got Jorge Soler in there, Merrifield, Alex Gordon still can hit. I think there's value in taking the Royals money line at that price at like plus 160. Just because I think the Royals can hit. They should be able to hit enough to where at plus 160 you should be able to make money making that bet. There's enough question marks with Odorizzi. I know obviously the Royals can get lit up and have 10 runs scored against them because that Twins offense is very prolific. But at that price, I wouldn't be opposed to making a move on the Royals.
Yeah, I don't want to play guesswork with Odorizzi. Just a guess, right? I mean, we're guessing and one thing that I've been working hard at doing this year with the help of you and Noli is having a real edge that I believe in. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to just guess because Odorizzi was an all-star last year. So we know he was on the IL to start the season, did not look good in the first 3 innings. It's Kennedy, Junis. Junis has not looked good so far this year. So this is a stay off. But we do know who's pitching in game 2, Duffy and Barrios. So we know that's happening. I think. I should say I know.
Duffy sucks.
These doubleheaders are so tough. I say I know. I think very quickly. Casey's undecided.
Oh, okay.
So Casey's now undecided. There's no line. So look, let's not even bother talking with game 2 Royals. Okay, let's go into games that we can make moves on and comfortably, confidently. And I'm not telling you guys not to bet these doubleheaders, but I can understand why we aren't at this point. All right, let's move on to Brewers and NL's Cubbies playing good baseball. That was another win yesterday that was voided. 4-3 win for the Brewers. And it's too bad. Too bad that I didn't realize the pitching change because I would have probably just bet it again immediately. Although I did like the fade situation we were in before Mills came in. But
I had to hold on to that first 5 under. I wound up getting a push.
Yeah, that was tight. Looked good early. I mean, they were both throwing no-nos, weren't they, for a while?
They were, but what do they say? That second time through the order.
Yeah. Dangerous. Mr. Wisdom says, I'm on Milwaukee moneyline again. Oh, sorry. So I like Brew Crew. And Ulysses says, I'm on Milwaukee moneyline again today. Del Toledo has Milwaukee. Let's go to full game moneylines and totals here. We're going to go with Bet365 opener and closer here to break this down. Hauser versus Ray. Opened at 9. There are a few 9.5s on the board. Bet365 has not gone to 9.5, although there's been a move to the over. Milwaukee opening up at minus 115. They're now minus 120, so a 5-cent move towards them. Wrigley Field, 83 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 5 miles per hour in. Brewers are 8-10 on the year, but 6-4 away. And the Cubbies, 13-4, playing very good baseball. And the guys know it. The core knows this could be their last year altogether, and they're trying to make the best of it regardless of the situation with COVID. Hauser, 1-1, 2.65 ERA, 1.06 whip, 17 innings, 13 Ks, 6 walks, 2 homers. And Ray's thrown 3 innings so far this year. And maybe Ant can give us a better idea of Colin Ray, because I don't know that much about him here.
Because he hasn't pitched in the majors since 2016.
Wow, yeah, and with the Padres in 2015, 2016. 1 start for the Marlins in 2016. Last year at AAA, 14-4, 3.95 ERA. He looked good. There's going to be no Chris Bryant in the lineup. The Cubs bullpen is still bad, 6.10 ERA, 1.45 whip. Brewers bullpen so strong. Brewers aren't hitting righties. Not hitting righties at all. 205, 627 OPS. Cubs are hitting righties well, 242, 770 OPS. Ryan Braun is expected to be back in the lineup, and Chris Bryant expected out of the lineup. And Brew Crew, Cubbies, are you making a move?
I'm not. The thing with Ray is he was the Pacific Coast League Pitcher of the Year last year, and that 3.95 ERA might seem kind of high if you're in the minors, but the Pacific Coast League has a lot of hitters parked. There's a lot of good hitters in that league. But I have a hard time wanting to make a move on a guy he's pitched 3 innings so far this year. The Cubs are only going to probably have him stretched out for about 3 innings, maybe 4 tops, even if he does pitch well, because he's not stretched out to be a starter yet. The Cubs bullpen is not as worrisome lately as it was at the beginning of the year. A lot of those bullpen numbers are a factor of they were letting Kimbrel pitch, and Kimbrel couldn't find the strike zone. So, like when Kimbrel goes a third of an inning and gives up 5 runs, that'll blow up your bullpen ERA and FIP. Their bullpen's actually been pretty good for about the last 2 weeks. The Brewers' bullpen's been pretty good too. I think in current form, the bullpens, I still give the edge to the Brewers. I give the starting pitching edge to the Brewers. Hauser's had pretty good numbers throughout his career, although it is pretty short. The Cubs lineup is still, even with Bryant out, and even if you put Braun in, the Cubs lineup is still significantly better than the Brewers. So this is a game to me. I see it same thing as yesterday. The Cubs have a lineup advantage. The Brewers have a starting pitcher and bullpen advantage, and it just comes out to a wash. I don't really see a significant edge on the line. I think the Brewers are a small favorite, about minus 120-ish to minus 115. That's probably about right. I mean, and even if that line's wrong, it's only off by about maybe 10 cents. I just don't see an edge in this game. And at a total of 9, I'm not betting an over with the Brewers, especially if it's at 9, because their offense has been so putrid all season long. And I'm not really sure if I think the under is the play here either, because what am I going to get from Ray? We're talking about a guy who has not pitched. I mean, he's pitched 3 innings this year. It's his first year in the major since 2015, 2016. He could get blown up, and then we could see this. If we take an under, we could see the under get destroyed. So this is just a complete pass for me. I don't really see any edge total or sidewise in this game. I know people, that's really all I have. I just don't. This game's just completely mad to me. I'll watch it as a Cubs fan, but I can't bet on it.
I agree. I'm off. And
full disclosure, I have bet against the Cubs this year too. I have bet against them before. So if I see an edge the other way, I will bet a bit against my Cubbies. But this game is just complete pass.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely agree. All right, let's move on to my first bet on today's card. Philadelphia Phillies, first 5 minus a half. I got minus 130, bet 365. It's now minus 135, so feed a 5-cent move, and that's just in the last, I think maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours ago I bet it, so it's not that long. Mets, 9-12, 4-5 on the road, going up against this Phillies team, 6-9, 5-8 at home, 59 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 8 miles per hour, sideways in. Mats against Nola. Mats allowed 8 home runs in 18 2/3. And the only thing this Phillies team is doing well this year is hitting lefties. 266, 890 OPS. There's Eric Jones in the house. Ulysses Hayes says Mets rebound today. I think that the Phillies can feel a little could sleep last night. Hector Neris again, second blown save. He looks terrible, but Harper wins the game for them in the bottom of the 9th, and I expect them to be strong early. I can't go full games with this team, with this bullpen, with a 9.12 ERA, 1.97 whip. A Mets hit righties fine and strong. 277, 77 777 OPS. Aaron Nola looks very good. 1-1, 2.79 ERA, 0.62 WHIP, 29 Ks in 19 in the third. And Matz just looks so bad. 22 strikeouts for Nola in his past 2 starts. That's over 14 innings. He's 7-1 with a 3.13 ERA and 13 career starts against the Mets. His last start, he gives up 2 hits, 1 run in 8 innings. He just looks strong. I don't trust the Mets. 8 runs and 4 in the third against the Nationals, who at times smash lefties. Against the Phillies in his career, he's 2-4, 5.48 ERA. Don Ricci says, I expect Mets to settle down today. Spencer Pendergy says, I do trust Mets. Ulysses says Mets will handle this lineup going at least 6 innings. And I have the Phillies -0.5 at first 5 -0.5 at -130, and I like it, and I'm confident. Take it away, and Mets Phillies.
So Mats has looked bad this year, but a lot of that has been just the home run ball. His strikeout rate is still within his career numbers. His walk rate is actually a little bit down this year. It's just his home run fly ball ratio is over 33%. His career home run fly ball ratio is about 16.5%, which is around league average. Those are numbers that you expect to be able to come in line with his career averages. I expect those numbers to come down a bit. He's not going to carry an ERA of 8 over the course of the year. His FIP and his xFIP are actually closer to his career numbers, right around 4-ish. And that is because of that home run fly ball ratio. I don't see how that gets sustained. I don't see how he just keeps giving up 33% fly ball home runs. On the other hand, there's not much to talk about with Nola. We know he's good. He's been good his entire career. He's been good this year. Even if Matz wasn't having home run problems, the Phillies still have a starting pitching advantage with Nola. But I kind of want to go to the offense this year. The Mets offense has been one of the top 3 offenses in the league. 266 batting average, 354 on base percentage, 421 slugging, a 338 WOBA, which is weighted on base average, and a 120 WRC plus. That is elite level offense right now. You look at the Mets lineup, and there's no surprise. Like 1 through 9, they have one of the best lineups in the league. I've been talking about this since before the season. I just love the Mets offense this year. The Phillies offense, too, has been really good also. They're actually not that far behind the Mets. 254 batting average, 342 on base percentage, 454 slugging. This is actually the last 2 weeks. Now we're at the point where I just kind of start looking at the last 2 weeks in the offense. So I kind of want to make sure people realize that's what I'm looking at here. 343 weighted on base average and a 117 WRC plus. So in the last 2 weeks, these offenses are hot. I think the Mets have an offense that's capable of sustaining these numbers kind of long term, while the Phillies offense, I think they're just hot. The bullpens is where I look where the Mets have a significant advantage. The Phillies bullpen is a complete dumpster fire. The Mets bullpen's been pretty average throughout the year. Their numbers are not bad, but they also have a high upside guys in their bullpen too. So they haven't been bad, and I expect them to get better. While I expect the Phillies bullpen to still be a dumpster fire. I'm looking at this. I have 2 bets on this game. When I factor in, I expect positive regression in that home run fly ball ratio for Mets. I expect the Phillies or I expect the Mets offense to continue to be good. And I'm fading that bullpen from the Phillies at plus 146. That's too high of a number for me not to grab the Mets on the full game. I don't blame anyone for wanting to take the Phillies on the first 5 because you do have, like what you did with Nola, is a better starting pitcher than Matz. But when I'm looking at this offense and I'm looking at these bullpens at plus 146, I have to take the Mets full game. I actually have this game lined as the Phillies should be a favorite at minus 120 full game. Wow. So I'm getting about 25 cents of value on that plus 146 number. So that's what I'm taking. I'm on the Mets full unit plus 146. And I also took the Mets at a half unit on their team total. When you have an offense like this and a bullpen like the Phillies, the Mets team total right now is 3.5. So I hit that Mets team total over 3.5 at minus 125. So those are my 2 plays on this game. Mets full game plus 146. Mets team total over 3.5 at minus 125.
I like it. Top Set is on the same action as you. I think that makes your breakdown makes a lot of sense, and it doesn't fill me with fear on my action.
I think we could both win.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would not be shocked if this game is 3-1 Phillies going into the 8th inning and that bullpen gives up 7 runs at 2 innings. I mean, it's happened before. You cannot bet a full game. I understand why you stick to first 5. You cannot bet a full game with the Phillies. And that's something too, just real quick. People spend so much time capping games based off starting pitching that they forget that bullpens are pitching 4 or 5, even 6 innings a game now, and they forget to cap the bullpens. And they also ignore the fact the offenses are there for a full 9 innings. Starting pitchers are not 80% of the handicap of these games. Especially this season, the average starter is only going 4 1/3 innings.
It's a great
point. We have to start. People have to start looking at these bullpen performances in the previous 2 weeks and putting that into a full game handicap. Otherwise, just bet first 5s like you're doing with the first 5. There's nothing wrong taking the Phillies first 5, but if I see people putting out full game bets and they only talk about starting pitchers, and I'm like, you cannot make a full game bet only looking at a guy who's probably not even going to get out of 5th inning.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. Absolutely right. Great stuff. Brandon Lugo saying, what's McNeil's status? I have McNeil expected to be in the lineup today. I don't know if Dom Ricci can back that up for us, Brandon, but I have McNeil expected to be in the lineup. And Dommy Gun, who celebrated his birthday yesterday, rolling with us today. Hope you had a great dinner.
Dom Ricci, Mets fan on that team total also.
Yeah, Dom Ricci and Elio, you're in good company. Good company. Ulysses Hayes on it as well. Paco Healy getting a plus 150. Great stuff. Okay, let's keep rolling along here. We're going to move in. So we're going to skip Pirates, Reds, and we're going to move on to Indians, Tigers. And this was another case, something that just haunts me consistently, of just not getting a bet in quick enough. And I don't know I don't know if it's enjoying watching the sports at night, building the worksheet and feeling like wiped out, not able to cap really until I wake up at 6 a.m, but it's costing me. It continually costs me. And there's Brian Warner. Yeah, bet was canceled. Same with mine, Brian. I didn't even realize it was too. Okay. 4 of my 6 bets were gone yesterday. That's unbelievable. Okay. Indians, Tigers, Bieber, Turnbull, 86 Fahrenheit, clear, 8 miles per hour in. Perfect teams for an under. Perfect starting pitchers for an under. Bullpen, perfect weather. And yet too late and didn't want to pull the trigger at a 2.5 for a 7.5. The Indians bullpen, 2.98 ERA, 0.99 whip. Very good. The Tigers bullpen, and Joe Yurkovich put me onto them. I didn't realize how well they were playing this year. 3.71 ERA, 1.06 whip. Neither team hits righties. 194, 606 OPS for the Indians. Tigers are at 213, 680 OPS, and expect the Tigers numbers to go down without CJ Cron in the lineup because he was so excited about getting everyday opportunities for the first time in his whole career. Bieber 3-0, 1.63 ERA, 0.76 whip. 43 Ks, 5 walks, and what can you say about the guy in 27 2/3? Spencer Turnbull's been very good. He's the ace of the staff. 2-0, 2.00 ERA, 1.00 whip, 18 Ks, 18 innings, 0 home runs allowed, but he struggled with Cleveland, as has the Tigers. I mean, the Tigers have lost 18 straight games to the Indians, the major league record. 18 straight games? I mean,
does that mean they're due?
We know that doesn't exist. But Joe Yurkovich has Tigers' first 5 run line plus 100 in his pocket. And when Ant uses his model, he always sees value on the Tigers, and they've padded his stats this year. Look, and who would have thought the Tigers would be sitting here at 9-8?
I've bet on the Tigers 15 times this year, and I'm 10-5 betting on them, and it's almost always a plus number.
I get it. And look at Swervin. So this is something that I take advantage of too at times. Swervin going first 4.5, and that's a bet 365 option here. You don't have to take 5. You can take 4.5. And 4 or 5 years ago, I never took 5.5. So I always took 4.5 because I didn't, especially only if I was on the road team. I wanted that extra at bat. And there's Swervin on the first 4.5, under 3.5 for Swervin. Here we go. 4 starts against Detroit. Bieber 3-1, 2.28 ERA. So that's the only big difference in this game is that I see is that one pitcher has very bad results against the opposition and the other pitcher has very good results against the opposition. There's a lot of similarities in this game. And let's see what the market is offering us here. Full game, Tigers, Indians. Indians opened up a big favorite, minus 192 at bet 365. They're still there. This total, as I said, has gone from 8 to 7.5. And Al, take it away.
This is a game where when I broke it down, I kind of wanted just to put it all the way down into just the first five because I did not want to play the full game, mainly because I think the Indians do have a substantial bullpen advantage over the Tigers. The Indians' offense, despite their really good performance yesterday with 10 runs, don't let that fool you. They still suck. They still have the lowest WRC, or I think it's their 69 WRC plus. I got the notes right here. Maybe I should just look at them. They still have a 196 batting average, lowest WRC plus in the league. It's absolutely putrid still. Even with the 10-run performance, their offense is still horrendous. And that was against Nova, and we all know Nova is a gas can. Turnbull, on the other hand, is the Pirates' highest upside starting pitcher. I really like Turnbull. I think he has the potential to be a solid number 2 for his career. He could be a number 1. You got to understand, it's only like his second or third full year in the league. And his numbers this year are 2 ERA, 246 FIP. He's got a pretty good K percentage. I think his walk percentage this season is a little bit too high, 9.9, which is not absurd walk percentage, but it is a little higher than I want an ace to have. But it's still pretty good numbers. And you got to understand, he's going up against the worst offense in the league. On the other hand, the Indians, Shane Bieber's been the number 1 starting pitcher all season. He's absolutely insane. He was really good last year. I was really high on him last year. And I don't like the Tigers offense as much without Crone. But the problem is these books figured it out. It took them 2.5 weeks to figure it out, but they figured it out. They dropped 3.5 on this first 5, so I can't bet that. If I want to take the 4, I got to lay minus 135 to take it under 4. But what I do like here is Turnbull has the ability to shut down a decent to good offense, and he's going up against a terrible offense. So you're getting a very good plus number on Turnbull here. I could see this being a 1-1, 0-0 game after 5 because I have all the confidence in the world in Shane Bieber. But this is going to be a low variance, a very low variance first 5 innings here. I see 2, maybe 3 runs at the most being scored, or even 0-0 runs being scored. You're getting plus money on Turnbull at plus 165. That's a pretty good bet. I wound up going a little bit different. I took the first 5 run line on the Tigers at even money. I'm getting even money on the Tigers plus a half run. I can easily see this being 0-0, 1-1 through 5 innings. I wouldn't fault anybody for just trying to go for that plus 165. And then if it pushes, it pushes. But I see this being too good of a number with Turnbull against a terrible offense. If I lose it 1-0 because, the Indians got 1 run against him and Shane Bieber shuts down the Tigers completely, then so be it. But I'm playing odds here, and I like the number here. It's too high of a number. They're disrespecting Turnbull and over-respecting this Indians offense. I think it should be a little bit lower. This number on the Indians should be a little bit lower. This is a Shane Bieber being overpriced because of his start.
That was a great breakdown. That was a great breakdown. Joe Yurkovich says that's my play. I agree. Topset says I agree.
Yeah. Yep, I'm on it. So
Jason Falk's favorite play on the card today is the Indians first 5 minus a half. So let's go to the only red flag, and that's Turnbull 0-5, 5.52 ERA against Cleveland, 7 career appearances. And how are you dealing with that stat?
I don't care about it. I don't really look at those the player versus team stats very often because I think most of the time they're meaningless because, even if we're talking about last year, it's a different lineup. The Indians' offense wasn't this bad last year. And also the Tigers' lineup was horrendous last year. So it's like he's being backed up by a shit offense, probably going up against a much better offense. It's just those are statistics that people like to put out there to try and make it sound good, but they're pitcher versus team statistics for the most part are completely meaningless. You can go on Baseball Savant .com, and you can find the player versus lineup statistics because they'll actually give you what that pitcher versus the projected lineup of that team is. Mm-hmm. That's a little bit more valuable, but you're still dealing with really small sample sizes here. And I just kind of want to go over overall body of work. And the overall body of work is Turnbull's pretty good. I think he has the potential to be a stud, and this Indians offense is putrid.
Yeah. 194, 606 OPS for spreads. It was a great breakdown. I don't want to. I mean, it's Jason Folk being so bullish on the Indians gives me hesitation.
Well, I can't blame anybody for being bullish on the Indians today because they got Shane Bieber on the mound. So it's just one of those situations where, I mean, how wrong can you be if you want to bet on Shane Bieber? Because he's been the best starter in the league so far. I just don't trust his offense to give him much support against a starting pitcher of the caliber of Turnbull.
I think that I'm sold here. I just want to see what I'm going to get first 5 on that alt run line, but it's a really nice breakdown. And the 3.5, I mean, there's just not the expected volatility in this game, and very interesting.
Wow. Yeah, I bet under 3.5 before, but I just don't want to do it today.
What did you get on your plus a half?
Even money.
Minus 115.
What's the money line then?
The money line is plus 167.
We'll just take the money line. If it's a push, it's a push. That's kind of weird. They're screwing you on that half because I got plus 165 on the money line on my book, and then it's the plus a half is even money. So.
Okay, I'm not going to make a move yet. All
right.
Okay, Braves, Marlins. Let's go into Braves, Marlins. Here's a move I did make. And Kev, my bad, Kev. Today I will send it. I'll DM you. My bad.
Braves pissed me off yesterday.
As they've been doing to a lot of cappers.
Would it fucking kill Wright to throw a strike? He looked good for 2 innings, and then all of a sudden he's like, here, let me just walk the bases loaded. Oh, yeah. It's like, hey, Wright, I watched that game. It's like, hey, Wright, you have a fastball, right? You have a 95-mile-an-hour fastball? Oh, let me walk the bases loaded, throwing all breaking balls. Oh,
He's trying too hard. And Max Fried, though, is an absolute stud.
Yeah, let's get off Wright, that piece of shit.
Let's talk Max Fried. Max Fried, the issue was he used to not be able to get enough strikeouts because he doesn't have that overwhelming fastball. But he's starting to get those strikeouts, 21 Ks, 22 2/3, 0.84 whip. He's the ace of this staff. Joe Yurkovich is on the Braves Marlins first 5 under 4.5, and I came very close to that bet, and I went full game. Just because I have some concern about Daniel Castano, but the Braves aren't hitting lefties. 183, 553 OPS, and we've got Acuna and Albies out of the lineup. Amaga Cash Money says Fried a bit overrated. We're going to see this year, because he has to step up for this ball club badly. Marlins versus lefties, 248, 714 OPS. Benny Pennybomb saying Marlins are playing tough, but batters are hitting 169 against Fried. He's got bad numbers against the Marlins, but again, just like Ant was saying in that last spot, I don't need to put too much consideration into that. This is Castano's second major league start. The Mets beat him up. 5 runs, 4 runs, and 4 1/3. And Connor Mack is on Marlins plus 180. He's going to take that. I took the full game under here, 8.5 at minus 115. But I understand Joe Yurkovich's bet. But I like these bullpens enough not to be concerned. Let's just quickly go over those bullpen numbers again. Braves bullpen 3.34, 1.27 whip. Marlins bullpen 3.81 ERA, 1.31 whip. So I think if Castano has a problem, that bullpen can come in and shut the door. The Braves open up at minus 200. They're now minus 210 at Bet365, and this total at 8.5 and has not moved at Bet365. Under 8.5, minus 115. Take it away, Ant L. Braves Marlins.
I was looking at this game, and so Castano, there's really nothing there to break down with him. He's only had 1 major league start, and he got lit up in it. His minor league numbers are pretty decent. I looked up his minor league numbers are pretty decent. I like Fried. Max Fried's career numbers. Where are all these? Here we go. 334. 363 ERA, 370 FIP, 373 xFIP. The one issue that I'm looking at Max Fried this season is his BABIP is pretty low. It's at about 228. And I know, I've talked with you before about the batting average of balls in play. That's one statistic that tends to even out fat pretty quickly. So at a 228 BABIP, I do expect there to be some negative regression on Max Fried in that aspect. I don't like the Marlins bullpen. They're averaging less than 7 strikeouts per 9 innings. That's really terrible, especially for a bullpen, because when you have bullpen guys, you want guys who can put people out. You want guys who can have that put-out pitch, and they just don't have anybody like that in their bullpen. They've been getting lucky with ground balls and weak contact and things like that. I just don't see a lot of upside in this Marlins bullpen. I see a lot of decent upside in the Braves bullpen. But long story short, I'm off this game, mainly because I see the line being somewhat accurate, and I'm not really willing to lay this number with the Braves if they got 2 of their best hitters out of the lineup. One of those guys out of the lineup is one thing, but if you got Acuna and Albies out, I don't really want to be laying minus 180, minus 190 on them. But I'm not going to take a flyer on the Marlins here because I have no faith. I think they're going to have bullpen regression, and I have no faith in this kid that they're throwing out there for a second career start. And the Marlins offense, it's been pretty average this year, and they're average and they've overachieved. There's going to be they're going to come back again to the fold with that offense, because you're not going to have a bunch of AAA hitters who are just going to be hitting above their heads for long term. I mean, they can do it for a 10-game stretch. They're not going to do it for 20, 30, 40 games. This Marlins offense is going to come back to reality pretty quickly, and I just don't see a reason to get involved in this game. An underlook doesn't scare me too much because I think Fried can shut down the Marlins pretty easily because I don't have faith in their offense. And also the Braves' 2 best hitters are out of the lineup. So, I mean, might get 5 runs out of the Braves. You might get 2 runs out of the Marlins here. So I don't blame anybody for looking at the under. If I was to make a bet on this game, that would be my look. But this game's a total pass for me.
Yeah, I didn't want to double up. And it was between Joe Yurkovich's first 5 under 4.5 for the full game, and I ended up with the full game. But interesting breakdown on the Marlins bullpen. That's bet number 2 for me right now. Let's keep rolling. Brian Warner, yeah, great call. A lot of you guys were on Byron. It's great to see.
I'm still mad. What a bad beat I took on Byron minus 6.5. Jeez. Technically they won that game 9-1. That an own goal. Oh my God. That game was laughable. Holy shit.
All right, let's go to Rays Jays right now. 79 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 7 miles per hour in. I was really proud of myself for getting off of the Rays wagon yesterday after hitting with them 4 times in a row against that are smashing. But I couldn't take the other side. I didn't bet the Jays, so it's not like I shouldn't give myself any props. But I did get off after betting the Rays 4 straight days. Get off, and the Jays lit up Bo Bichette. I mean,
looking good.
7 consecutive games with an extra base hit and RBI. That's the longest streak by shortstop since 1920, when the RBI became an official statistic. That's the kind of player that he is, and that's the kind of future that we think we have up here in Toronto. 79 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 7 miles per hour in Buffalo, Salem Field. Yarbrough has the Jays number. He hasn't looked that good this year. 4.71 ERA, 0-2, 1.24 WHIP. Just 13 Ks in 21 innings, 7 walks, 2, allowed 3 home runs. I have no idea what Chase Anderson's going to do this year. Not a clue. I find him such a difficult pitcher to cap. And I back Yarbrough every time he pitches against the Jays, but the Jays are hitting so hard. Joe Yurkovich already on the over 11. Jays versus lefties, 240, 702 OPS. Their power is against righties. Rays versus righties, 244, 759 OPS. Rays bullpen took a beating last night, so it moved up to 4.35 ERA, 1.3 WHIP. Jays bullpen's been very nice. It was great to see Loop, that fucking bum, pitching on the Rays after we had to watch him on our team pitching so terribly year after year. And we just beat the shit out of him last night. It was just made me very, very happy. Jays have 13 home runs in 2 games. They're just absolutely rolling. Yarbrough, 2.14 ERA, 6-1 against the Jays. Joe Yurkovich says, I'm convinced it's an over park. You know, Joe, they say that it changes dramatically. And this is from the ball players. They say sometimes the ball carries unbelievably well, and then sometimes you can't get it out of the park, that it just stops in the air. So something we should definitely keep an eye on, because certainly is an over park right now.
Well, Buffalo, they're in Buffalo. That's right by Lake Erie. So you get all that wind from the lake. So kind of like the thing with the Cubs, where some days it's, you're going to get 25 runs. Other days it's 1-0 because of the wind coming in from those lakes. So that's probably why, because, Buffalo's basically right there on one of those great Lake Erie, Lake Huron, one of those. So
yeah, no, that's an excellent point. This total opened at 10.5. It's now at 11 at some books. Bet365 still at 10.5. Yarborough opens up at Yarborough in the race opened up -140, now -135. Small 5-cent move to the Jays. There's Tony Bruscher in the house. Mark Unkelfer, tell me, my man, what is the move here? Rays, Jays. I've yet to make one.
Yarborough. Normally, I think Yarborough is really good, but he's been lit up multiple times this year, so he's kind of looked kind of funky. So I'm not sure what's going on with him there. You're right. You look at the Rays bullpen numbers; they look like they're bad, but you also got to take into effect they got lit up last night. So the Rays bullpen is still one of the top bullpens in the league, although they have been getting touched. Chase Anderson, this is a fun guy for me. He's one of those guys that modelers hate, because he's a soft contact. He's a pitch to contact pitcher. He's not a strikeout pitcher. And he was with the Brewers for those several years when the Brewers were really good, because I don't think the Brewers are good this year. But when the Brewers were really good, like the last 3-4 years, they never had top flight starting pitching. And it was always guys who they preach that pitch to contact, get ground balls, get weak contact. And they were very successful with that. And that was Chase Anderson. So he's kind of like a poor man's Kyle Hendricks in that manner. His career ERA is just under 4, but his advanced ERA numbers, his FIP, his xFIP, I mean, they're all like a 0.5 runs higher than his career ERA. So people are going to want to fade him, thinking there's going to be regression. But you're talking about 6 seasons now where he's held that number, where his ERA is, a full half run to a full run lower than his advanced numbers. So to me, he's a guy who can sustain that. He's just going to always outperform those advanced metrics. So I think he's career ERA right around just under 4. He's a better than average starting pitcher. He's going to be in the league a long time. I don't see anything wrong with him here. I look at the offenses, and both of them in the last 2 weeks are just completely turned it on. I got their numbers for the last 2 weeks here. Rays, 304 batting average. Or no, last 7 days, actually, because they're really hot the last week. 304 batting average this last week for the Rays. 400 on base percentage. 546 slugging, a 401 weighted on base average, and a 160 WRC plus in the last week. That's pretty insane. And on the Blue Jays, 273 batting average, 354 on base percentage, 568 slugging, 387 weighted on base average, a WRC plus of 149. 2 offenses that are this hot in the last week against Yarborough. Pretty questionable right now. Chase Anderson, yeah, I think he's a better than average starting pitcher, but if he's not going to miss bats here, I think they can light him up. I honestly think the over is the look here. The problem is the books know that the over is the look, and it's 10.5. I mean, if this number was at 10, I would hit it. But now that they moved it to 10.5 and 11, a lot of these books, I'm kind of staying off of it for now. But if it gets pushed down to 10, or I can get, -105 on a 10.5, because right now I'm looking at 10.5 at -120. But if I could get that 10.5 at say a -105, I'm taking the over here. Because I would not be shocked if this is another 7-6 type of game. I mean, you cannot bet against 2 hot offenses like this, especially when you have a struggling Yarborough. The Blue Jays already proved they can hit that bullpen against the Rays yesterday. And although I don't dislike Chase Anderson, I think he's a pretty solid down the road starting pitcher. He can get hit, and the Blue Jays bullpen can get hit. And I just see this as an over game, but the books lined it that way. I mean, we got a Coors Field total in this game today, so I have to stay off of it unless I can get a little bit better price on an over 10.5.
Yeah, no, that's well put. And I can understand why Joe is on it. Joe Yurkovich is on it, but I'm not going to make a move here. I need to watch Chase Anderson more.
Watch it be 6-5 after the third inning, and I look like a jackass.
I know. Look like a jackass if you like the under.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's true. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like I look at the game, I know exactly where I think this game's going to go, but the books know it too, so they line it that way.
Jason Folk says, "Do you guys ever buy runs on the over/under?"
So you're just kind of like,
yeah, we take alternative totals, yes, but only for plus scores. We never.
Yeah, I buy runs all the time. Like right now, I could buy up, or I could sell up to 11 at about even money. But I want like plus 110 on an over 11. You know, so I will sell numbers, and I will kill this dog if it doesn't stop barking.
But yeah, so for me, like I will sell. That's the better way of putting it. The answer is sell numbers, and I've done that in the NHL playoffs. Quite a few times. I've only really done it successfully in that under 4.5 Penguins Habs game 3. I think I got plus 195 on the under 4.5 instead of taking the 5 or 5.5. And that's what Joe Yurkovich got. He got even money right there. Okay, let's keep rolling. We got Irie, Soul, Joe Yurkovich, Andre Lebrec, Jason Folk, Dom Ricci, Mr. Gokster, Penny Bombs, Chris, and Top Set. We got a great group here. Let's move on to my only plus money spot so far on the card. That's the Boston Red Sox, and don't panic. It's just first five. But I'm going to take it. Plus 135, first 5. Paxton's throwing how much slower? So his four seam is averaging 92.1 miles per hour. That's down 3.3 miles per hour from last year. This Red Sox team is hitting lefties, 273, 779 OPS. I get the Yankees without Judge and Stanton. You know, I'm going to take it. Paxton's got 7.84 ERA, 1.74 whip. He's coming off his best start of the year. So he allowed 8 runs, 6 earned on 12 hits in just 4 innings over his first 2 starts. And then Sunday he comes back and he looks pretty good against Tampa. 3 runs, 4 hits, 6 in the third in an 87-pitch outing. He's 5-1, 3.23 ERA, 9 career starts against the Red Sox. This was a plus line that I really liked and had to jump on. Swervin says Big Maple leaking sap. Evaldi, 4.09 ERA, 1.27 whip. It's not like he's been lights out, but his K-walk ratio is very good, 24-3 over 22 innings. And I just saw this as an opportunity here. Evaldi, 1-1, 1.95 ERA, 8 appearances, 5 starts against the Yankees. And he's coming off his first win of the season, a 3 runs, struck out 10 over 6 against the Jays on Sunday. And then so I found I just thought there was value on the Red Sox first 5 and plus 135. And I'll take it away, Red Sox, Yankees.
I don't disagree with your play there. I don't have a play on this game. When I was breaking this game down, I like the Yankees bullpen. I'm not really impressed with Paxton this season. Eovaldi, he's one of those starting pitchers where he's hit and miss for me. I just think he's basically average. But you take Judge out of that Yankees lineup, and that makes all the difference in the world. Judge came out of the year. He's got 9 home runs in 17 games this year. He's a huge piece of that lineup. Now, the Yankees have a ton of lineup depth, so they still got a lot of guys who can hit. But you got a vulnerable starting pitcher right now in Paxton. I just don't see a lot of good stuff from him in his first few starts. So under no circumstances can I lay this number with the Yankees. So I actually don't disagree at all with taking Boston here on the first 5. I don't like Boston enough to take them full game because you do have a substantial bullpen advantage with the Yankees. Boston's bullpen's been pretty mediocre. The Yankees have some of the best bullpen numbers in the league. So a plus 140 with Eovaldi on a first 5 because the Boston hitters can still hit. They still have Devers. They still got J.D. Martinez in their lineup. They still got some good guys in their lineup to be able to hit. If Boston gets like 3 runs off of Paxton, you can hit this plus 140. So I don't have any problem taking Boston plus 140, and you might have convinced me to throw a half unit on it.
Gas Station is he's max betting this, and he's one of a few who love it. I believe I saw C-Mac on the over as well. They're very interested. Tim Montana X love the over. Connor Mack over 9 and minus 105. Have I missed something? Is this total a spot that we should take advantage of on the over? And
I was looking at the total too, but I've been burned betting overs in Yankees games where their bullpen comes in and shuts it down the last 3 innings. So I'm not really interested in taking the over here just because the Yankees bullpen, and we also don't have Judge in the lineup.
Huh. I think that's probably the right side. The weather's not going to help you guys. 10 miles per hour in is the wind, at least to start the game. There's Luffy D Monkey in the house. Andrew Woj, the big Woj, 0-0, calling the 0-0 first period. That's usually my bet on these 12 o'clock, very important, very early hockey games. I stayed off of it just because I thought that the Hurricanes might attack early, but great stuff. Okay, let's keep rolling along. What's Ulysses saying? He's saying, in this spot, the books know that Boston still plays Yankees good, and the value is because Judge is out. Great weather tonight. Well, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with this plus line. Razor says Yankees can score the over themselves any day of the week. Just depends on which Yankee team shows up. Okay, let's move on. So there's my third look on the card. We are now moving on to A's Giants. Manaea Gausman, 76 Fahrenheit, 8 miles per hour, out to left center at Oracle Park here. A's 14-6. Great to see the A's playing good baseball. Giants 8-13. A's versus righties 217, 727 OPS. The surprise is Giants versus lefties. They're hitting them pretty well. 253, 793 OPS. A's bullpen is so good. And by the way, Ann was talking about the bullpen advantage the Yankees have. Yankees 3.64 ERA, 1.23 whip for their bullpen. Red Sox 5.40 ERA, 1.56 whip. So almost a 2-run advantage there for the Yanks. And a similar situation here, even a bigger disparity. A's bullpen 2.09 ERA, 1.03 whip. Giants bullpen 5.52 ERA, 1.46 whip. Joe Yurkovich says it looks like it's Montas. I was trying to figure that out, and I thought that wasn't going to be the
Montas got scratched, and they put in Manaea. I actually wound up passing on this game because I was capping it with Montas, and I almost had to play with it with Montas. And then I saw that they scratched him and they put in Manaea, and now I'm actually off this game. But, yeah, look at those bullpens because if you don't cap bullpens, you're going to lose money because everybody thought they're going to cash a big underdog ticket on the Giants yesterday. And, oh, look at that. A shitbag bullpen came in, gave up 5 runs in the 9th inning, and the A's win the game after being down 6-0.
Wild. Just absolutely wild. They're down 5 runs with 2 outs left.
Yes.
Joe, I do think it's Manaea. I know that there's some sites that still say Montas, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, there was confusion with me. I loved A's first 5 in this game when I was captain with Montas, and then I saw that it was Manaea, and I just scratched the whole thing and said F it and moved on.
He's looked very poor so far this year, and it surprised us because he came back late last year, looked so good in those 4 games, didn't look good in the wild card game. You'd think he'd be ready to throw here. 9 ERA, 1.87 whip. He just does not look good. And
Manaea's looked good for 5 starts in his entire career. He had a no-hitter baked in there. Like, he had like a 5-start run where he had a no-hitter where you're like, wow, this kid looks really good. But outside of that, he's been very, very mediocre.
Well,
there's nothing to write home about with him. So.
What do you think of Gausman right now? Coming off his best start of the season against the Dodgers, 1 run, 3 hits, and 6 1/3. He's always been good against the A's, 2.77 ERA in 4 career starts. Do you think that there's any – do you think Gausman moving forward might be somebody for unders?
I think Gausman is average. A lot of people we used to call him gas can because of his name, so we make a joke about it. He's like a gas can because he was pretty bad for a while. But he's gotten a little bit better this year or last couple of years. I don't dislike Gausman, but I just don't see unders wise probably because he's good enough to hold teams to a couple runs in 5 innings, and the Giants offense is pretty terrible. So like if you're giving like first 5 totals with Gausman starting at like 5, I could totally see that going under. So actually, what is the first 5 total on this game? Because if it's 5, that might actually be a look. Because Manaea, although Manaea is mediocre, I mean he's still capable of beating the Giants or holding the Giants to a couple runs.
It's 5 at a couple books. It opened at 4.5, which means probably
people are fading Manaea.
Yeah, probably gets to 5.
Yeah, so if you could take an under 5 here, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I don't really like anything in that Giants offense. So there you go. Like if it's 5, might be worth a half a unit, but I don't have a play on this game. I kind of got mad when they scratched Montas because I did have a play on this game with Montas starting. But
well, let's keep rolling through this lineup of games here. Mariners, Astros, Nick Margevicius.
Margie. Just call him Margie.
Margie. I said his name a bunch of times before the show started. Now I can't say it. Margevicius. Nick Margevicius. 0-0, 3.24 ERA, 1.08 whip here for the Mariners. And we know these Astros can hit lefties. Whether or not they know the pitch is coming, they hit lefties. 885 OPS. Mariners versus righties, 236, 693 OPS. We have Christian Javier, 1-1, 4.02 ERA, 0.89 whip. He's looked good, but has allowed 4 home runs. So when he gets touched, he gets hit pretty hard. Yordan Alvarez comes in and immediately changes everything for this lineup. That was really spectacular. Too bad the bet was voided with the pitching change for our team total over. Very, very disappointing. Astros bullpen, 3.83 ERA, 1.63 whip. So vulnerable with that high whip. Lucky to have just that low ERA. Mariners bullpen 6.49 ERA and a lower whip than the Astros. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Oh, sorry. The first 5 is at 6 runs. That's high. The total opened up at 9. It's moved all the way up to 10. Astros opened up at -210. They're now -235. Take it away, Ant. Astros, Mariners.
Total's up at 10 because here's the thing with Margie. He sucks. Career ERA, which is, last season and the beginning of this year, 6.34 ERA, 5.56 FIP. The Mariners bullpen is ERA over 6, FIP over 6, xFIP almost 6. They're averaging over 6 walks per 9 innings pitched out of that bullpen. And then I'm looking over here at the Astros bullpen, and I narrowed it down to the last 2 weeks because the Astros have had a lot of issues with pitchers getting scratched, pitchers going on the IL, and it's turned their bullpen into complete shit. The Astros have one of the worst bullpens in the league right now. The year-long numbers don't bear that out, but after they've had these injuries, you look at these last 2 weeks, 5.10 ERA, 5.24 FIP, over 5.5 walks per 9 innings pitched out of that bullpen. I'm looking at the Astros offense. It's still really good, even when they don't know what's coming. Their offense is still really good. And Big Vogelbach, you mentioned Javier can give up a home run. If you get 1 or 2 guys on base for the Mariners, Vogelbach can get into a hit. He can get into a ball and blast a home run. If the Mariners get 3 runs here, this game's going to go over. So I'm actually on the over. I took it at 9.5, so it's disappointing now that we're doing the show that it's at 10 market wide. But I still, if you're getting an over 10 at like even money, I would still pounce on that. I think this has 8-6, 8-5 written all over it to me. I am absolutely fading both these pitching staffs. I don't care where I'm getting these runs from, but the Mariners are throwing out a terrible starter, and he's backed up by a terrible bullpen. I don't know what I'm going to get from the Astros starter. He looks like he could be all over the place, but the Astros bullpen the last 2 weeks is absolutely terrible. And the Astros offense is really good. I just see this runs in this game. So I took the over 9.5. If I know it's moved up to 10, if you can get an over 10 and even money or even -105, that's still a pretty good take. So that's my look on this game was the over. I have a full unit on over 9.5.
Makes sense. And yeah, the over 10's at -105 at Bet365.
Take
right
it.
Now. Nice job. Brian Warner says, I like the over as well. Risk reward.
Yeah, you're fading. It doesn't matter how bad the Mariners lineup is. The Astros bullpen's that bad. And like I said, if they have 1 or 2 guys on base and Vogelbach just decides, because he's their only really good hitter, Vogelbach just decides to bash a dinger all of a sudden with 2 guys on base, whoop, there you go. If the Mariners get 3 runs, this game's going over. Because Margie and that Mariners bullpen isn't stopping shit.
Yeah, well put. Maga says Kyle Lewis is better. Kyle Lewis definitely more potential. Interesting.
I just like Vogelbach. Don't you diss Vogelbach, all right? He's a big fat boy who has no athleticism. All he does, he's a DH. He just walks up there and goes, all I do is to bash some dingers. And he just bashes dingers. Yeah, he just strolls around the freaking base pass slow like he's Babe Ruth because he can't do nothing else besides get up there with a bat and bash a dinger. I love that guy.
He's a dinger basher. Let's go Nats, Orioles. Move on to this spot, 75 Fahrenheit, overcast, 6 miles per hour, sideways in. I have not pulled the trigger on that over yet that we were just talking about. Ant has a 9.5. I'm interested in it. Patrick Corbin versus Asher Wojciechowski. Patrick Corbin, 2.0, 2.50 ERA, 1.00 whip. What makes it better is that 2 of those starts were against the Mets and 1 against the Yankees. So he's had a nice start to the year. Wojciechowski's had not a bad start to the year for the journeyman bum that he is. 3.95 ERA, 1.17 whip, 15 Ks, and 13 2/3. Nats versus righties, 240, 683 OPS. They get all their power against lefties. And Orioles versus lefties, second in Major League Baseball. 286, 926 OPS. Wow. Nats bullpen, 4.16 ERA, 1.30 whip. Orioles bullpen, 4.72 ERA, 1.37 whip. Nats bounce back with a 15-3 win after that finished game that the Orioles won. Strasburg again, done out. The Washington Nationals under win totals, an easy casher for me this year, I expect. Starlin Castro out with a broken wrist. And Wojciechowski, 4.05 ERA, 5 games against the Nationals. Let's see what we're dealing with, Ant, in this Washington-Baltimore spot. Washington opens up at minus 180. They're still minus 180. This total is at 9, hasn't moved. Over 9's at minus 115. Are you making a move on this Ant, Nats, Orioles?
Yes, it's my strongest play of the day. I have 2 units on this bet, and I'll just keep it quick and brief. Corbin has been one of the most elite starting pitchers in Major League Baseball since 2018. AW is a journeyman bum, like you just said. He sucks. I mean, he's a type of pitcher they throw out there and go, hey, please don't give up 4 runs in 5 innings. Just give up 3 runs for us in 5 innings. He's not any good. I don't trust this Orioles offense long term. Soto is bashing the ball. This is absolutely a textbook case of massive starting pitching mismatch. Absolutely massive. Corbin is an elite level starting pitcher. You just mentioned he's got great numbers in his 3 starts and his versus 2 of the 3 best offenses in baseball. 2 units, first 5 run line on the Nationals, minus 125.
Yeah, that seems to make a ton of sense. Maga saying he thinks this is a letdown spot for Corbin, but and the Orioles are hitting the lefties very hard. But Wojciechowski is just vulnerable. And then the Nats don't hit righties hard enough. Does that concern you at all that the Nats don't hit righties hard enough?
Neither one of those numbers concern me because you're dealing with probably, since Chris Sale is out indefinitely, you're dealing with the best left-handed starter in Major League Baseball, and you're dealing with a bum. So I don't care if you're right-handed or left-handed, you're a bum. And I don't care how they hit against lefties. He's the best left-handed starter in baseball right now. So that's irrelevant to me. Corbin is an elite starting pitcher, and Wojciechowski's a bum. Enough said.
Yeah, no, I like it. I'm getting minus 130 though. Nice job getting minus 120.
Oh, I bet it at minus 130, and then I bet it again at minus 125. So I have 2 bets on this. Okay. I'll take them both. I think with Soto, all you need is Soto to hit 1 home run, and there you go. You got your first 5 run line. Because I don't think the Orioles are getting shit off of Corbin.
Castane's 2 said bad spot for Corbin, loses concentration versus bad lineups. This is a lineup that's raking lefties, and the Nats are 7-10. Generally, I would agree with you, but this doesn't seem like a spot where this team is losing. They just lost Strasburg again to the IL. I think it's an extremely important time for Corbin to step up. I don't see this as just like a regular old August game against the shitty Orioles, which is what it would be last year at this time. And then I would completely agree with you. I see a spot where Corbin has to step up today. It's extremely important that he does with them at 7-10, and after losing Strasburg to the IL. So
yeah, and you also got to realize there's 8 teams out of each league make the playoffs this year with the expanded playoffs because of the shortened season. So even though they're 7-10 and this shortened season, they need to start getting some wins because they could go 500 and make the playoffs here. So, you know, they do have time to bounce back, and this is a good spot for Corbin. I'm just looking at it like this, you know, because I don't really look at the bounce back spots and things like that. That's not really how I handicap. I'm looking at it through the numbers, and I'm seeing an elite starting pitcher versus a trash can, and that's that. It's one of those situations where it's a easy play for me here.
yeah,
These are spots that these first 5 run line spots when I can get like a very high level starting pitcher against a bad starting pitcher, and I can get those run lines on those first 5s at the -130 and below. These are the kind of spots I hit repeatedly.
I'm going to jump in. This is my first edition. I'm going to be thinking about MAGA and gas station sushi a lot while I watch this. Sportsman of the Year in the house. Great to see you, my man. Jimmy J saying Corbin bringing heat today. Nats all day. All right, Nats, Orioles. That's my first edition. Let's move on to Padres, Diamondbacks. The site says the roof is open. Mark Unkerfer says Pelicans Gentry fired. Yeah, I said that makes so much sense. Mark, I said that 3 days ago or so on the show where I was like, oh, he's done. He's going to be canned. I don't know why they're playing with the roof open. I guess they need some offense from the Diamondbacks, but 113 Fahrenheit clear, 9 miles per hour sideways. It just
It's got to be illegal.
And the roof's supposed to be closed tomorrow.
113 degrees. My God.
Alex Young, tricky pitcher to figure out. Both Alex Young and Cal Quantrill are tricky pitchers to figure out at this point. Cal Quantrill's had a good start to the year. 2-0, 3.12 ERA, 1.15 WHIP. Alex Young, 1-0, 4.66 WHIP. And Mr. Ghost said Port Dopes. He's Port Dopes? I think Port Doper. Cal Quantrill, yes, son of Paul Quantrill. Or is he the nephew of Paul Quantrill? I think I'm getting that mixed up with Plesac. He's the son of Paul Quantrill, isn't he? Ex-Blue Jay Paul Quantrill. Padres first lefties, 236, 756 OPS. D-backs first righties, 246, 706 OPS. That number's going up. Padres bullpen that we thought was going to be excellent and still may be. But Kirby looks like he's got a real elbow issue. He just walked off the mound in disgust. 5.90 ERA. It looks like Pomeranz is 4-for-4 for saves, and he's a much different pitcher as a reliever than he is as a starter. Will take that closing role. D-backs bullpen, 4.76 ERA, 1.39 WHIP. Diamondbacks have now won 6 of 9, and Alex Young. I mean, I don't know what to do with them. I don't know. He's a very tricky pitcher to quantify here, and I have stayed off of this because of that. Quantrill, Young, the Padres opened up at -130. They're now -120. They're still opened up at 9.5. Is now at 10. Take it away, Ant. Is there a move to make?
Not that I could find. I don't know enough about this Alex Young to really like try and back him or fade him. It looks like he's mostly doing like opening roles and stuff. Cal Quantrill, he's average. I'm looking at his career numbers. There's really nothing that stands out to him that makes me think that he's a guy that I want to back or fade. He's pretty down the road pitcher. So nothing really at note with him. One thing I was looking at is the Diamondbacks offense has been a lot better in the last couple weeks versus, that putrid start. They've turned it completely around. And the Padres offense has come back to earth a little bit. I know they had that huge start to the year, but they've actually been below average the last couple weeks. So that might explain why we've had a move towards the Diamondbacks here. Also, with Quantrill being kind of average, the bullpen being pretty bad this year, the Diamondbacks offense being a little bit better, it kind of made me think to look to an over. But the total right now is at 10. But like you said, if they opened up that roof, that ball's going to fly. So I would say the only look I would have on this game, because I don't know what to make of either one of these pitchers with this line. This line's kind of a wash to me. because now with the move towards the Diamondbacks, the line is getting closer to almost even money on both sides. So you're basically just flipping coins with juice now. I would say I would lean towards the over, but I'm passing on this game. But I would, but with the Diamondbacks pitching performance, the better offensive performance we see from the D-backs, them opening up the roof, it just sounds like an over spot to me. But they made that total 10, so that's kind of hard to. It's hard to bet overs of 10 unless it's Coors Field.
Agreed completely. I'm off. But we got the Lock Nick Monster, Boston Nick in the house. Great to see you, Nick. Big show here on odds.com headquarters tonight. UFC 252. So I'm on Padres, Diamondbacks. And Christopher Comatini says Diamondbacks better bullpen. They have better numbers this year, but I still think that this Padres bullpen will be really good by the end of the year. And I know the sample size with 60 games is so small, so better step it up right now. Let's go to my double up. We heard Ants double up. Now, I didn't put 2 units on one bet here, but I did go first 5 full game on Herman Marquez and the Colorado Rockies. I did back them, and it's my biggest look on the day. Rockies opened up at minus 160. There's been a 10-cent move towards them at minus 170. This total opened up at 12. It's now at 11.5. Ryan Kozlowski also with me here. Kyle Gibson, I wonder if he's going to struggle here in the thin air. He's never pitched against the Rockies before. His last start, he did not look good. He's a tricky pitcher to predict. And he looked good in his first 2 outings, 3 earned runs, 11 innings, but the A's hit him hard on Monday. And the Rockies are hitting righties hard, 267, 772 OPS. Rangers aren't hitting anything, and they're not hitting righties, 204, 606 OPS. Both teams have poor bullpens. Rangers 5.07 ERA, 1.45 whip. Rockies 4.71 ERA, 1.32 whip. 96 Fahrenheit clear, 9 miles per hour in. And I'm on the Rockies first 5 full game. That's my look. Tell me, Ant, what are you doing here? Rangers, Rockies.
So right now I have 2 bets on this game also. So you're looking at Marquez on the year, 208 ERA, 274 FIP, 360 SIERA. I love Marquez. He is an absolute stud. I think he's one of the best starting pitchers in major leagues right now. Like, his career ERA doesn't look that way, but you're talking about a guy with a career ERA of 4, and half his starts are in the most prolific hitters park in the history of baseball. He doesn't care that he's pitching in Coors Field. He just goes out there and produces. It does not, you've seen a lot of pitchers, where that Coors Field just gets to them and they just completely melt down. I remember Mike Hampton back in the day. He was a star starting pitcher back in the late 90s, early 2000s. He signed with the Rockies and went into oblivion, that's happened to multiple pitchers. Marquez, he just doesn't give a shit. He just goes out there and does his thing. I love him. And I will always look to try and back the Rockies when he pitches. And on the other hand, Gibson, pretty average starting pitcher, about 4.51 career ERA, 4.30 FIP, 4.22 xFIP. I don't dislike or like Kyle Gibson, but I think Kyle Gibson will be good enough to hold the Rockies in moderate check. And I think Marquez will completely shut down the Rangers offense, because the Rangers offense has been terrible all year. So I don't have any question in Marquez being able to hold the Rangers in check. So I am on the first 5 under 6.5 at even money, because I'm banking on Kyle Gibson to have a serviceable start, which is all I need for him, in my opinion, to get this first 5 under 6.5. So I'm on the first 5 under 6.5, and I'm on the first 5 run line for the Rockies at minus 120. And I'm just going to be hammering first 5 run lines with Marquez and Coors Field a lot. And it's a well I keep going back to. I'm not on the full game, mostly because I just want to keep the bullpen variance out of this, because the Rockies bullpen's been all right, but I don't know. I've seen them a couple times get blown up. I mean, we've seen games. I had a buddy lose an under at Coors Field like just a few days ago because they scored 11 runs in the last 2 innings, So I don't know what's going to happen with these bullpens. So I just want to take all that heightened variance out of it and just go, okay, I got Marquez versus Gibson. Marquez is going up against a terrible lineup. He's going to shut them down. Gibson should be serviceable. both these bets first five. First five run line Rockies, first five under 6.5.
I love it. I love it. I'm first 5 -1/2, full game -1. We're all over the Rockies in this baseball game. Let's get to the final game on this MLB card. Knowing that there's just one NBA game and then, 3 more NHL games, it's been nice to take our time with this MLB card. Really milking Ant for every winner we can get. Dodgers, Angels, 89 Fahrenheit, 7 miles per hour out to center. I was afraid to take the over in this game last night. And Nutflush Allen talked about what it's like when the weather's 90 in Angel Stadium and the ball just carries, and it sure did. It sure did last night against two good pitchers. One, first ballot Hall of Famer. 89 Fahrenheit, 7 miles per hour to center, similar conditions. Walker Buehler, 4.40 ERA, 1.05 whip, yet to register a win, 12 Ks, 8 walks, has allowed 4 home runs in 14 and a third. And then we have Heaney, 4.26 ERA, 1.21 whip, 19 innings, 19 Ks, 5 walks, 1 homer. Dodgers versus lefties, not hitting them, 207, 677 OPS, just like 2 and 3 years ago. Angels versus righties, 240, 798 OPS. This Dodgers bullpen's been lights out, 1.49 ERA, 1.02 whip. Angels bullpen is improving from how awful they looked at the beginning of the year, but still 4.43 ERA, 1.43 whip. Buehler pitched against the Angels just once in 2018, so who cares? In his last start, Buehler took a no-hitter into the 5th, 1 hit in 5 2/3, but he walked 4, hit a batter, and gave up 2 runs. And then Heaney coming off his worst start of the season. Heaney 1-2, 4.56 ERA in 4 career starts against the Dodgers. I've yet to make any kind of move on this game. The Dodgers open up at -155 at Bet365. There's been a 15-cent move towards the Angels. This total was initially juiced to the under. It's now juiced to the over, and it's just sitting at 9. I wonder if this is a spot where we go over here. Very interesting. Conor Max has cashed that over. Dodgers got Sandoval last night. Take it away, Ant. Dodgers.
I agree with that line move towards the Angels. You have Heaney, who's a lefty, and the Dodgers crush righties because all their best hitters are bat left-handed. And so you're going to have Heaney going in there. So there's a little bit of advantage there, I believe, for the Angels. And Buehler's looked kind of like, I love Walker Buehler. Don't get me wrong. His career numbers over the last few years have been great, but he's looked kind of suspicious this season. Now, I'm not one of those guys who just jumps on everything right away. Like if a guy has 3 starts and a couple of them are bad, I'm not just going to throw away a good starting pitcher just because of a couple bad starts. So I still think Buehler is an elite starting pitcher here. So that's going to kind of make me not want to take an over. Because you do have Heaney, who he's a high upside starter. He does come from the left-hand side, so that could neutralize a lot of the Dodgers' power there. And you have Buehler, who's a high-level starting pitcher as well. And the Dodgers' bullpen's very good. So I think it's kind of questionable to want to take like an over 9 in this spot. I am looking towards the Angels, but the problem is the line's already moved towards the Angels, so I'm not getting enough of a number that I wanted to get. I didn't pull the trigger last night like I should have, but my look here would be like an Angels first 5. That way you can avoid the Dodgers bullpen, or an Angels full game. You're actually getting 20 cents better on the full game than the first 5. With the Angels lineup, the Angels have a lot of high potential in that lineup. They got the best hitter in baseball in Trout. So I just look at this from numbers wise, getting a decent plus number on that Angels lineup, getting a decent plus number, taking a left-hander against the Dodgers. I lean towards the Angels here, but the numbers moved enough to where I don't want to bet it. If it was the number we were getting last night, I'd probably grab it. Angels first 5 would be a look, but it's plus 120. I would rather get, an extra 10, 15 cents on that number. So this game's a pass to me with a lean towards the Angels.
I think this game is going to end up just being a pass for me with a lean towards the over. I think I'm going to stay off it. I don't want to expect runs from the Dodgers, and that's what I'm going to need because it's not impossible that Buehler throws nice today, at least 4 or 5. So, I like your breakdown. And I'm going to stay off of it. Don Ricci said, I think Corbin will be on point today. Well, we hope so.
I hope so. I got 2 units on it. And the thing is I'm very conservative with my bankroll. You go on Twitter, you see these cappers, 3-unit max play or 5-unit banger, blah, blah, blah. That's all bullshit, guys. Seriously. Don't listen to all that nonsense. Every play I make is, 1 unit, and I'll step out occasionally for a 2-unit play. And I have a 2-unit play on Corbin today. That means I'm super strong on that play. It's not a 10-unit banger or blah, blah, blah. It's just a 2-unit play. I bet 160 baseball games already this year. I can't be, doing 10 units here and 1 unit here. It's just slow and steady wins the race. This is not a get rich quick scheme, guys.
I love it. And also, but those of you who are watching just for the last 10 or 15 minutes or so, that's on the first 5, right, Ant?
Yeah, Nationals first 5 run line is a 2-unit play for me. It's my strongest look on the card. MMA
locker rooms on Corbin over 5.5 Ks. There we go. And L joining us for an hour and a half to break down every single MLB game, and no pressure for us to speed up, man. This is great. Thank you to odds.com for allowing us as much time as we need to comfortably break down each and every game. It's extremely enjoyable. And L, my friend, can you please review your action one more time, and please follow this man at AntL_sports. I'll pop it in the chat.
All right. The Rockies Rangers, I have 2 bets on the first 5 here. I'm on the first 5 under 6.5 at even money. And I'm on the Rockies first 5 run line minus 120. On the Nationals, we just talked about Nationals first 5 run line minus 125, 2-unit play for me. I'm on the Mariners Astros over 9.5. I know the lines got moved up. So if you could get an over 10 at minus 105, I like that as well. We are fading bullpens and we're fading pitching staffs in this one. Man, all these papers. Forgot half my bets. All right, Mets plus 146. That is a 1-unit play. And Mets half-unit team total over 3.5 at minus 125. I like that Mets offense, and I'm fading this Phillies bullpen. I don't care how good Nolan looks when he goes out there. I think the Mets can get runs. If they get 1 run off of Nolan 6 innings, I think they're getting 3 more off of that bullpen. So I like the Mets first 5. We've been going too long. I'm starting to get foggy. Mets team total over 3.5 is a half-unit play for me. And, that's all I had. I only had about 5 plays. Because the Reds got scratched. I was on the Reds minus 1, but apparently they got COVID too. So,
yeah, no, I like it. Let's. We have a quick question for Brian Warner. We got to get into NBA and NHL, even though it won't take very long. Brian Warner for Ant. Quick question, Ant. Opinion on Nats first 5 minus 1 at plus 110.
If it's a push, then if they win it by 1, that's fine. But I don't see a reason why to go that route. I mean, But
the Nats
that's
don't hit righties hard enough.
Huh?
The Nats just don't hit righties hard enough to, I think, for why I wouldn't take the minus 1. Because one of Ant's points was that all you need is maybe 1 Soto home run to win this bet.
Yeah, I don't see the Orioles getting really anything off of Corbin here.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. There he is, Ant L. Spectacular job, Ant. And Ant will be moving to his new day every week. So you'll know when you get Ant for sure, 100% for sure on the show. And that is Tuesdays, every single Tuesday. So you will see him on the show next Tuesday and every Tuesday moving forward. And we love having Ant on the show very, very much. Thank you for all your hard work, Ant.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
Have a great weekend, my man. There he is, Ant L. Sports. I will review my action here for you guys, and I think I only had 1 addition, so I don't have a lot of action either on this card. I already bet Phillies first 5 minus a half. Sorry, let me pull out exactly what I got on this. Phillies first 5 minus a half at minus 130. Then I'm on Atlanta, Miami, full game under 8.5 at minus 115. I'm on the Boston Red Sox. They're lock Nick monster. You'll like to hear that. I'm on your Red Sox first 5 plus 135. And then my only addition was tailing Ant's Corbin look. So I am taking the Nats first 5 minus a half. I've yet to bet it yet. That's going to be minus 130. Ant got it at minus 130 and minus 125. And then I doubled up on the Rockies. I doubled up. Ant also did a double up on the Rockies, but differently. Took the first 5 under and the Rockies first 5 minus a half. Rockies on run line. I took Rockies first 5 minus a half and the full game minus 1. So that is my MLB action. And there you go. Mr. Goes to Canes. I thought thought Dennis said Boston power play goal. I can't wait to watch that hockey game, but very, very important that we continue winning here on the show. We've been on a very nice run, especially last 2 days. 9-2 plus 9.20 units. Oh, no, I think that's plus 8, right? Because it's plus 8.20 units. Because I hadn't taken off the unit from the stupid Astros void. Okay, let's go. NBA. We had Trot Lamb jump on the show yesterday, and the play correlated with Dutch Boy Fresh. And I know our man Irie Soul not going to like hearing this, but Dutch Boy Fresh was bullish on the Portland Trail Blazers in their game today. And we weren't as bullish because Dutch Boy Fresh said he was on Blazers first half, -3, full game -6, and he was thinking about adding the first quarter. This morning, Dutch Boy Fresh jumped on the show and said, yes, he's on the first quarter as well at -2. I'm only on the first half -3, and I had to pay 5 cents extra at -115. There's Jam Man in the house. Jam Man, how we've missed you. Oh, yeah, and L says Tigers first 5 run line plus 100. Forgot to recap that one. Okay, thank you. And Jason Folks said Corbin's going to camel lip him today. And Piker coming in with the ignorant insights play of the day. Memphis plus 6.5. I think that's something to do with Portland not playing any defense ever. Let's talk about this spot. Jared JB says, I've been listening to the whole show to and from the dispensary. Good thing I was driving, so I didn't bet on the White Sox. Good thing you stayed away from the White Sox. Jared JB, my man. Much love to you. And drive safe, pal. Okay, let's talk about this spot here. Grizzlies and Blazers. And I can understand why somebody would want the Grizzlies full game at plus 6.5. I only see 6s. We have 6s on the board here. It's a lot of points, and this is a big game. Kanaskat likes the over. Happy Randhawa also looking at the over. And let's take a look at what's going on with the over here. It is a total that opened up at 233.5, and it's all the way down to 229.5. Ron Lofton on Nurkic over 16.5 points. Grizzlies pace in the bubble, 5th in the NBA, 103.77 possessions a game. Blazers 15th at 101.37 possessions a game. So the Blazers need to win once, today or tomorrow, but get it today. Jason Lowry with a little parlay here. Rockies first 5, Blazers money line at plus 130 for Jason Lowry. So these teams played each other in a big game, the first game of the bubble, July 31st. It was a 140-135 win for the Blazers. And the big point in that game was how spectacular Jaren Jackson Jr. looked in that game. Puts up 33 points. He's the reason it was so tight. There's Robert Cherry in the house. There's Matthew Heckerthorn joining us. Great to see you, Matthew Heckerthorn, a new name in the chat. Thank you for rolling with us, my man. So he suffers his torn meniscus 2 games later, and I just think the Blazers are better. But this is a big game. And I expect Ja to step up, and I expect JV to step up. And C-Max says, I'm on the over. Blazers score 120. It's going to be over 229. And Jason Folks saying that Babano gave great insight on the Blazers-Grizzlies game. There's predictions guy in the house. MMA Locker Room, it says take Dylan Brooks over 19.5 points. We know that our guy, Prince of the City, was all over that Brooks prop last game. There's Molecular Ninja. Man, Molecular Ninja, so great to see you, man. Being way too long, Molecular Ninja. Great to see you, my man. So Portland 6-2 since they've been in the bubble. Lillard was dominant in the bubble. Props Profit saying is Nurkic playing today. Man, I mean, it would be a shock and awe situation if he wasn't. Let me just quickly go there right now, and I am expecting Nurkic to be in the lineup. And yeah, he's all good to go. He's right there, good to go. The issue with this Grizzlies team is their expected lineup with Tolliver at power forward. I mean, they miss Jaren Jackson very, very much. And I see Portland's just a better basketball team. Oh, wow. Props Prophet said grandma died, might leave the bubble. Okay. Thanks, Props Prophet, for letting us know. And Robert Allen saying Blue Jays plus money, great pick today. Yarbrough always had our number, but Brian Warner says Memphis will have to push. Portland plays no D. It's a score fest waiting to happen over our pass. I'm going to pass. And Sean says Nurkic going for 40 now. Valanciunas is capable of slowing Nurkic down. Pacheco says, what do you think about the Marlins today? I'm on the under 8.5. Molecular Ninja, no, we have hockey next. Hockey is next. So with all that being said, I'm on Blazers first half -3. I expect the Blazers to win this basketball game, but 6 is almost getting to the point where I'm a little hesitant. So, and Razor Sharp hammered the under. There you go. Okay, so that's it. There you go. I'm on the Blazers -3, -115. And I expect the Blazers to win, but the 6 was just enough to get me off of doubling up or playing the full game. All right. The Woj on Lillard over 4.5 threes. Also, because of the intensity change here in this playoff game, I'm a little uncomfortable with the prop market. And you guys know that I love hammering the prop market. And a little uncomfortable. And we're coming off one bet yesterday, Sixers money line at plus 165. How about that smash and grab right there? Thing of beauty. So that got us back up units. We were back up. We got back positive yesterday, but we're sitting now 1.82 units up. We're 132 wins, 121 losses, hitting 52.2%. Our ROI just 0.72%. It's not good enough, but Brian Warner says the Lillard over threes is a good look. Irie Soul says any NBA props? No, I'm just on the Blazers first half -3, and I'll be watching very closely. And, there's the over 4.5 threes at -130. Robert Allen says, how'd you get Blazers -3, Jimmy? Just first half. It's still available, I'm sure. I expect. Blazers first half -3. Yeah, it's still there. In fact, it's -110 again. I got -115. Okay, so that's my action. Blazers first half -3, and I just feel like the 6 is a little too much. I also thought that it'd be 3.5 by now, and the fact that I spent 5 cents more on it than others is a little concerning. All right, and Piker says, give me those Nets on Monday with another 10 spot, by the way. Love those crappy motherfuckers. Says, they got that Bernie Kosar swag. BC, I'm sure there's lots of parlays that people want to share. We just had one given out a second ago. We just had one that we just popped up on the screen from Jason Lowry. So Jason Lowry's on Rockies first 5 Blazers money line at plus 130. Leo Leon, for sure, 100% for sure on the Kentucky Derby Day, but I'm not entirely sure if we're going to do one before then, but 100% on Kentucky Derby Day, first Saturday of May. I believe that is the 5th. Okay, so that's NBA. That's my only look. Let's move on to NHL. Coming off a good day in NHL, we had the Capitals team total under 2.5 at plus 125, that cash, with the over in the Blues Canucks game at plus 115 over 5.5, that cash. And then we lost on Dallas -1, which was a little disappointing. Canascat, still in discussions here. We are hoping to have a Saturday Low Shack in the Bag show, so we're still trying to figure that out. John Dean says, I loathe Sagan and Ben just as much as Jimmy, but the Stars have dominated the first 3 games after 2 short goals, and Talbot's play, which are not sustainable. Stars also missed 2 empty net goals, 2 posts right off the top. I hate Sagan and Ben, but I think I am going to go back to the well tomorrow. And Robert Allen says, Islanders can win the cup this year. I just if the Canes can knock out the Bruins, and the Islanders can knock out the Capitals, and the Jackets can knock out the Lightning, now we're talking. Now we can have some fun. Okay. Dennis Garcia says, don't do it, Jimmy, about taking the Stars here. I'm not a Stars fan at all. I don't think the Flames are a very good team. I despise the Stars. I despise Ben. Kane's on the power play. Come on, Ulysses, I need this. Okay, let's move on to the first game here. Lightning, Blue Jackets, and there was a lot of people on the show backing the Lightning because of the terrible situational spot it was for the Jackets. But Dennis said it perfectly. He's not gonna bet against the Columbus Blue Jackets' resiliency, and that saved money for Dennis and I. Although I mean, we didn't take the Blue Jackets because at that point they played the equivalent of 6 games in 6 days. But I'm not going to test the Jackets, and what we've got now with this NHL odds market is a consistently every day it will be Blue Jackets or pass. It's going to be Blue Jackets or pass until this series ends. The Jackets open up at -175. There's been a 15-cent move towards the Jackets. At this point, when you watch these two teams play, you can't take this big favorite move. You can't take this favorite look here. Rob. No, I'm hoping for a win. I got because I bet the Canes game 1, lost, got that money back plus a little bit with the +125 in game 2, and I'm on the Canes for the series, and it's a 12 o'clock noon game, and I'm not going to get to watch it, and I don't want to be sitting there staring at the chat with my palms sweating. So a Lightning 18.2% power play. It's negated because the Jackets have an 89.5% penalty killing since the restart. The Jackets have a 9.1% power play. The Lightning have good penalty killing. The Jackets have scored already on the power play. So now the Cam Atkinson, Nathan Gerby didn't play Thursday. Probably not going to play today, but then Bemstrom and Devin Shore step up. Gabe Paskey says Tampa has no jam. Cooper better do his torch expression in the dressing room, or they are playing golf. Well put, Gabe Pesky. Well put. So I'm not going to bet the Jackets here, but there's no way I'm going to bet the Lightning. Let's move on to Golden Knights, Blackhawks, and Mr. Go saying Shore, great young addition, and Porch Monkey saying Bemstrom, a very solid player. I love that, Jay. That's funny. Ulysses is on Tampa Bay money line. Hershey says Acacia misses me. Oof, man, do I miss her? But I've gotten. It's been a while now because when we have the HBI, I don't even see her. Since she left Gulfstream, I don't get to see her anymore. So I miss her dearly. Gabe Paskey says Vegas in 4 over today. The Blackhawks were very close to tying the series up in overtime game 2, and over the total, says Gabe Pesky. This Blackhawks power play has been so bad during the regular season. It's stepped up here in the playoffs. They're now hitting at 22.7%. It's been bad for 2 or 3 years, and it's because the Duncan Keiths of this Blackhawks defense have fallen off and aren't the players that we expected. Kevin Linebeer says Kevin's going to kill Chicago. This is not going to be a spot for me to take a big favorite. And they opened up at -200. There's been a 20-cent move towards the Blackhawks. And Dennis says Arizona-Chicago seasons effectively end tonight. It's very, very, very possible. But I'm not going to sit here and take a big favorite. It's not how I succeed in NHL. And I'm not going to take -1.5 in the playoffs. And so, and now with Pacioretty not in the lineup, he didn't look good. Then you have Thomas Nosek come in and replace Pacioretty, and now he's out of the lineup. And the Western Conference is not good. But the Golden Knights, they're not good. CK says, dude, you've made no picks. Make a pick, take a stand. CK, you can blow me. You can come up to Toronto and blow me while your whole family watches. And then we'll put a picture of that and stick it up on your fridge so your family can see it over and over again. I've made 6 bets in MLB, 1 bet in NBA, and I'm positive units in all of these sports. So if you're thirsty, CK, then just please come up to Parkdale. I'll have a pint glass of semen for you. All right, so Golden Knights, Blackhawks, I am off. Okay, let's get to the one spot that I want to make a move on. Buznut says Mitre Porciento running today. Now we're talking. Okay, CK, I do have one look for you, semen sipper, who watches for 7 minutes and says make a pick, man. What is 4 minutes? Will you watch for 4 minutes and say make a pick, man? All right. I am going to take the Colorado Avalanche team total under 2.5 at plus 150, but I want to talk it out for everybody because I was hesitant to pull the trigger. And I didn't want to make this bet just because of the Capitals under 2.5. 6 bets in MLB, CK, 1 bet in NBA. You watch for 5 minutes? All right. Avalanche team total under 2.5 at plus 150. And I see now, I'm not sitting here saying that I think the Coyotes are going to win this game, but there's not a lot of space out there. And now the Avs lose Donskoy, then they lose Nemesnikov. And what's happening is that those are real offensive playmakers in Donskoy and Nemesnikov. And I see Tocchet with this. He knows what he's got. He's got a nice puck-moving defense that's great with outlet passes. And then he's got a very offensive forward group. And he demands accountability from them because they're offensive playmakers. So the Coyotes' penalty killing is at 75% in the restart. But we know that that's not their penalty killing. Their penalty killing is very, very good. And they have Kemper, who is capable of stealing games. I'm not going to sit here and take the Coyotes to win the game because an Avalanche winning 2-0 or something like that wouldn't shock me. So I'm getting plus 150. I was getting, and let me just double check and ensure that I'm still getting the. Let me just double check and make sure that I'm still getting this here. So just take 1 second. Plus 150 is enough for me to pull the trigger. Holy yeah, 150. Under 2.5, 150. I just don't think there's going to be any room or any space. And I think that they're going to try to take advantage on the odd man rushes. And I thought, and I'm shocked to say this because I think Colorado is the best team in the West and a better team than the Coyotes. But the Avalanche were lucky. That was a lucky goal, a complete, just a fluke spot where it bounced off the skate and Kemper's out of position. Kemper knows that he can shut this team down. And then you take up their 2 beautiful offensive players in Donskoy and Nemesnikov out of the lineup. And I don't think there's going to be a ton of space. So I've just talked it out, and I'm going to stand by it. I would not take it, Mr. Wisdom. I don't think at plus 125. I don't think. I think that you really need to be rewarded for this team total under 2.5. And I am getting it at plus 150. So I will make this bet. We were on a little 4-game winning streak here in NHL that stopped with the Stars -1. Sorry, let me get to the end of this. Stopped with the Stars -1. It was 5-game winning streak. And 5-game winning streak, and 4 of those were plus money spots. Only one was the Montreal-Philadelphia first period under 1.5 in game 1. So it's been a tough year, man. Our average line is plus 120. We're now down 0.17 units. Our ROI, 118 wins, 136 losses. Our ROI is 0.07% because of our plus lines. So I just think this is going to be very, very, very tight. I don't think there's going to be any space. And I'm going to be richly rewarded for the Avalanche under 2.5 goals at plus 150. Gas Station says Vegas players still stressing defense in the media. They're just not that kind of. They're just not that kind of a team. Okay, so that's what's up. I'm on the Avalanche team total under 2.5 at plus 150. Christopher Comentini says Tocchet's going to have the Yotes ready to play. There's no doubt about that. I mean, Tocchet is the toughest player on the Coyotes, and he's their coach, and that's why Chaika did a shit job putting this team together. And I don't think that any Coyotes fans should be upset that he quit on the team. Maybe the timing, because he got hired at 26 years old. He's not a man yet, and not all 26-year-olds aren't men yet. But Chaika is a little bitch. Jason Lowry, much love to you. So that is my only play in NHL. Avalanche team total under 2.5 at plus 150. There we go. All right, let's break it all down. Ulysses Hayes said, I said last year, Ulysses said last year Yotes would improve. They have. And Sean Moser is on Vegas team total over 3.5. And Dennis Garcia saying Arizona's easy to play. You don't get punished when you play Arizona. That's what makes them easy to play. But they do have a tight defensive scheme that Tocchet has put into place, and they have Kemper, who is playing very, very well right now. He's playing elite level goaltending. They're getting elite level goaltending, and they have a puck moving defense that's fast. It's not really physical, but they can get outlet passes, and they're not out of position. I don't think so, Ulysses Hayes. I don't think it's an issue at all for the Yotes. I mean, their goaltending is being spectacular. Okay, Connor Mack back in that over 3.5 puck line on the Knights. Remember, that's Knights team without patches. Okay, that's a full banger show. 2 hours. Let's go over all the action and then put a bow on this. Thank you guys so much for rolling with us today. The Cardinals-White Sox doubleheader. I'm off, and and look what we've seen. Every team that's been off and had this long break has come out firing. Dean Eden made a killing on Byron Barker game last night. Sandwiches on me, respect. And Reese on Hawks money line. That's ballsy. Okay, so nothing on the Royals Twins doubleheader for me. I'm on the Phillies first 5 -0.5 at -130. And that's backing Nola. I'm on the Braves Marlins full game under 8.5 at -115. No, Gate Pasky, nervous Purvis. I haven't. I mean, with the lockdown, with COVID and everything, it's not been as enjoyable as I expected it to be to come home. I'm on the Red Sox first 5 at +135 with Eovaldi. I was interested in that +0.5, but it was -120, and I'm certainly not going to take a minus line. You need the risk reward to be plus. So I'm on the Red Sox there. First 5 +135. A's Giants, I am off. Mariners Astros, I am off too, but a lot of guys in the chat are taking that over. It went from 9.5 to 10, and I completely understand it. The only addition to my card is the Nationals first 5 -0.5. That's a play that our Aunt L Sports is bullish on. Then Padres, Diamondbacks, I'm off. Remember, the roof is supposed to be open there. I doubled up on the Rockies. First 5 -0.5 and full game -1. And I got first 5 -0.5, -130, full game -1 at -129. Jesse Daly said COVID doesn't stop the zombies. I get it. Respect. Okay. Dodgers, Angels, I'm off. Again, I can understand what people are on the over. Any major if I was betting a parlay, putting a parlay together for you, BC, I would probably do it differently. So here, I'm betting here to have an ROI of over 2%, between 2% and 3%. And BC, I used to do heavy parlays because my bankroll wasn't big enough, and it still isn't big enough. But it wasn't even close to big enough to make 6 or 7 bets on the card. So I was sort of forced to go for big scores, and then I would bet differently. So that would take me some time to look at this game differently, look at these games differently. But I would include the Blazers in the parlay, the money line, to get started. Blazers full game money lines probably would be I would know I'm doing that, and then I would look for the other spots that I really, really believe in. I love you, Irie Soul, my man. So I'm on the Blazers first half -3, and I'm on the Avalanche team total under 2.5 at +150. And that's my action. And that's our week. And what a successful week we've had. I'm going to wait till tonight's games are in the books and then put the numbers out for the week because the last 2 days have been so good. 9-2 plus 8.20 units. Yesterday, 5-1 plus 6.05 units. BC, my man, my pleasure. My pleasure, BC. And there's a lot of people say you can't bet parlays, shouldn't bet parlays. And I disagree. If you don't have a bankroll to make 3 to 6 bets at a decent number, then you should go for scores, big scores. So I'm not someone who's heavy against parlays. Like if you have $50 to $100 to bet every day, then yeah, let's have. You want to give yourself an opportunity to, pick up a K on a bet. So I'm not against it at all. Thank you guys. There's Mr. Gokster in the house. All you guys, Sean Mosler, Yenny Toon, Tim Montana, Jason Falk, BC, Ulysses Hayes, Irie Soul. I know this show succeeds because of you guys in the chat. And odds.com knows that as well. They know it's you guys that make this show special, your insights and your humor and everything that you do, all the energy you put into the show. So I'm just so thankful to roll with you guys. The Woj, Connor Mack, Gate Pass Key, Jesse Daly. And check out the big show tonight here on odds.com headquarters with UFC 252 in the house. Ryan Kozlowski, Yenny Toon, Leo Leon, Dean Eden, a Porch Monkey, Dennis Garcia. Let's get these Canes to put up a goal and take us home, can we? Paco Healy, Mr. Wisdom, Canas Cat. Have a great weekend. Enjoy it. And I'll be back on Tuesday. We go Tuesday to Saturday. And there's a possibility of a time change for the show. And I'll put that out on Twitter. But there's a possibility for a time change of the show. And it would be earlier. Odds.com wants more time to cut up the videos. And I understand that. So this could be, we could be going a little earlier. And I'll let everybody know if that's the case. There's Sun Dizzle popping in late. Get that cash. Lecce, Halos bookmakers. Let's get paid in full. Let's Kobe fist. Let's Jordan fist. Let's keep winning. That's what we got to do. Keep eating.